Hello, I'm Reed Holson. Welcome to CityLink and Ask the Mayor, where we sit down and have a monthly conversation with Mayor Mike Huther of the City of Sioux Falls to inform you on what's going on in the city and what's coming up in the future as well, too. You can keep in touch with the Mayor and our City Council on our website at siouxfalls.org, and of course send your questions to this show as well, too. Well, Mayor, it's the hot July time of the year. You're fresh off that 4th of July celebration. Tell us about how it went.
It was one of the biggest, and I think one of the best that we've ever had. And I just want to kick it off, Reed, first of all, by not only acknowledging all the guests that were there from all over the city and the state and the country, but I really want to recognize the good stewards, the volunteers that were there not only this year but in years past. They truly are the hidden storyline behind this incredibly fun event. And what I find so fascinating is that, they could easily be with their own families, eating that old fried chicken and macaroni salad and wonderful, dessert that everybody celebrates on the 4th. But instead, they decide to give back and make a difference in their community and share their time and their talent. And in some cases, we have donors who share their treasure too. And so, I just want to thank them publicly, give them some kudos, and encourage them, and as well as others, join us next year, because just because I'm not going to be the mayor next year doesn't mean that we're not going to do the picnic and the parade and hopefully that fun run too.
Yeah, you'll be running in that, I'm sure, huh?
Yes, I hope so.
How was the parade this year? Did more people in it?
It was the biggest parade we've ever had. We had over 100 entries, and it really was fun. I always say the word hokey, and it's not to minimize it, but it is. It's old-fashioned. It's special. Kids on bikes with streamers, moms that create these costumes with their family members, and even a politician or two in some old-fashioned vehicle and doing the wave, and people just love it, and it was just great. And then of course 5,000 people enjoying pork loin sandwiches and ice cream and chips and water, and it's all for free there at Falls Park. And so just so glad to be a part of it. But I will relay a little secret. The next day, of course, I took a 2.5-hour nap in the afternoon.
You did?
I was exhausted, and again, it's one of my most fun favorite days as the mayor. But it exhausts me too.
Yeah, I would imagine so. It'd be a lot of fun. Summer's here, of course, and this is the first summer that we've had the Midco Aquatic Center open as well too. How's that affected the outdoor pools and attendance?
It's interesting, and I think that number one, the outdoor pools are still being attended in a very, very high level. Of course, and when you have this heat, people love being there. But I think this thing that maybe is maybe sounds a little unusual is that the indoor aquatics facility is jamming. We have record numbers at the indoor facility as well. And again, not everybody enjoys the heat of the summer, just like they don't enjoy the cold of the winter. So they are coming indoors, enjoying the great amenity that we have called the Midco Aquatic Center. And it's just really been a really good thing. We are selling passes like crazy. We've got some indoor swim meets that are coming soon, which will again generate more activity as well as sales tax revenues for our city. So really, it's been a really important thing for our summer. Another quality of life investment that people are enjoying, as well as economic development driver too.
And people can obviously work out there too. It's a great lap pool, plenty of room for people to go in there and exercise.
There is. I think that there's still some out there who don't know if it's for them. And what I would tell them is that, it's for everybody. There is a portion of that indoor aquatics facility that's for everybody. Could be the lap pool, could be the diving boards, could be the kind of that lazy river where you can either walk in it to get your exercise that way, or do some other things. But there's so many great things to do at the Midco, and so come on in, dive on in, and really enjoy the water.
It's been a busy summer, as it always is in Sioux Falls, and we're concerned about our sales tax revenue. We've had this massive soccer tournament that
Yes.
just finished up. Jazz Fest is this month as well too. Is it going to help sales tax?
It will help. It never hurts, those big events like Jazz Fest, this wonderful event with the regional soccer tournament. But I want to give you some perspective, Sioux Falls. As big as that soccer tournament was, and as wonderful as the stewards and the leaders that helped make it happen, as wonderful as they were, we estimated that it generated around $15 to $17 million in economic development opportunities for Sioux Falls, which is great. But the reality is that in a year, we develop about $6 billion in sales, $6 billion. So really, to kind of make up for some of the challenges that we're seeing in terms of softening sales tax revenues, we need a soccer tournament like that about every week. We need a Jazz Fest about every week to really help make a dent in some of those softening sales tax revenues.
And this key question we get, it asks the mayor all the time, is you look around, there's lots of building going on, the interstates are full of people. We've enjoyed 4 to 6% sales tax growth for so many years. It's so hard for people to believe that it's on the downslide and it's low. Why is that?
And I get that. It just seems to not make sense. Record-breaking construction activity for the 5th straight year. Help wanted signs everywhere. People moving into town like crazy. Quality of life that is second to none. Bevy of confidence, and you're right, Reed. So you throw all that into the mix. So why in the world, Mayor, would it be that we've got no sales tax growth or limited sales tax growth? And again, there's two things that are really happening, and that is the ag economy is not doing as well as we need it to. Again, we need some rain in South Dakota, Sioux Falls, and we got to start praying for it, because if these farmers and ranchers in small towns, if they don't do well, and right now they're not, it's going to impact you in Sioux Falls and your sales tax revenues and your ability to get things done. It's going to hurt you in a big way. And then again, this internet deal, people buying stuff on the internet. We don't collect that sales tax revenue as we do when you buy things in town or in our city. And so, folks, I need you to believe it. I do. I think that the council certainly believes it now. And we'll keep talking about it during the next budget address as well. But the citizens of Sioux Falls, we need you to believe it too, because it's real. And if you think it's real in Sioux Falls, just imagine what it's like in these towns and cities all across South Dakota, because they're being impacted much more than even Sioux Falls. And then when you tie that in all together, who's got the toughest job? It's the governor right now. The state legislature, because they are having to make some dramatic cuts in terms of statewide spending, and that will impact us all, as a great state of South Dakota.
Is this the new reality, or is it temporary? What do you think?
I think it is. I think it is the new reality, and I've said this publicly, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to create a firestorm here, but I strongly believe that this is not a one-year thing. This is going to go on for quite some time, not only in Sioux Falls, but across our great state. We are very, very reliant on sales tax revenues, very, very reliant on property tax revenues. And so when it softens to this degree, whether it be, ag economy related or the sales tax revenue snafu that we've got, it's going to impact us for a long time. And Reed, that's one of the reasons why I submitted one of the most conservative capital improvement plan budgets that we've had in a long time. And get ready, Sioux Falls, because if you think that one was conservative, wait till you see the operating budget. That one's going to be even more conservative, just because we're not going to spend money that we don't have. And so as these revenues are not coming in at the level that we need, we're going to cut back and tighten our belt as well.
And the city's required to keep a 25% reserve in hand.
Yes.
Is that fund solid?
It is. We do have, our piggy bank is solid. We are going to maintain that 25% reserve level that has been deemed prudent by the council, as well as I agree with it. We will meet those reserve levels as long as I'm your mayor. And two, our debt burden is very, very manageable and prudent as well. One of the things that I showed the council and the people of Sioux Falls is that if they do execute the budget that I've outlined, actually the debt level that we'll have after that budget is executed will actually be lower than when I started. And let me repeat that. The debt level and the debt burden will actually be lower than when I started if we execute this plan.
Let's get back to the capital plan.
Yes.
Prudent and conservative, as you said, but $40 million in recommended cuts. What are you focusing on in this one? I would assume infrastructure.
It's about as simple and as basic as you can make it. The fluff or kind of the fun stuff that we've talked about in prior years, in this budget, it's pretty much cut out. Really, the only quality of life investment that you're going to see in there is the money that has been allocated towards the Levitt Pavilion. And that is a public-private partnership, and I do believe that'll be the kind of our downtown's event center when it's ultimately built. But in this CIP, 9 out of every $10, 90% of the money is going to some of that boring but very, very important and critical stuff called infrastructure and utilities. Versus in the past, it was around 65%. Now it's 9 out of every $10 or 90%. So the boring stuff you see above the ground, the boring stuff you see below the ground, that's where we're going to put our money if the council follows through with what I'm recommending.
I'm sure one thing you've learned being mayor that people are never satisfied with the condition of the roads.
No.
And as we grow, there's some main roads that really need some help in being redone. Is this plan going to address some of those?
There are. That is always the case. I've learned the hard way. We've repaired, replaced, or rebuilt about 350 miles of roads since I've been your mayor. But you still have people that are concerned going, hey, mayor, when's it my road? When's it, my way to work? When's that one going to get done? Here's what I'll tell the good folks of Sioux Falls. At least right now, we've got an objective mechanism to evaluate every single road in our town. And what we've done is we've taken a picture and we've given a rating to every stretch of road in our city. So now we're going to put that money where the most challenging roads are. And again, in that capital improvement plan, we identified the worst roads in our city, and those will be all repaired by 2018. If that plan is executed. And then yes, there's some other monster roads that need to get faster, wider, smoother, safer, and we're working on those too. Because as we've talked about in the past, Reed, I promised you folks that we'd have more orange barrels than we've ever had in a year, and they're everywhere. And they're on some of the biggest roads in our city and in our state. Louise, 57th, and more. Those orange barrels, you make a right, there's an orange barrel. You make a left, there's an orange barrel. And it's done purposefully. And again, remember, folks, you're going to like it when it's done.
That's right. Short-term pain, long-term gain,
Yes.
right? Before we take a break here, we're talking about budget, the operational budget. And the city subsidizes a lot of organizations and causes and so forth. How's the outlook on that this year?
I'm going to give you a little scoop on this program. And we are going to have a good heart-to-heart conversation with the city council and a good heart-to-heart conversation with the people of Sioux Falls. Just like Mayor Munson did at the end of his term. I'm going to kind of follow his example as best I can. And that is, I think that we truly do have to evaluate whether, is this a government role to be providing taxpayer dollars or subsidizing organizations in our city? And especially when times are tighter or tougher, I think that's when you really do have to have those tough conversations. And we're going to have that. We are. And guess what? There are going to be some people mad in terms of, hey, the reality is that we are in a tightening sales tax environment. We are having to make some really, really tough choices. And if it's not appropriate for government to be spending their money or taxpayer dollars in this way, we are going to have those conversations. We are going to recommend some cuts. We will have that tough dialogue. And guess what? It's going to be tough to be a city councilor. It's going to be really tough to be a mayor. But that's what we're elected to do. We're elected to lead, elected to make tough decisions, and we're not going to make everybody happy, and that's just fine.
When's the budget address?
Soon. It's in a couple weeks. It'll be that final one, and it'll incorporate that a small snippet of the capital budget as well as the operating budget. And again, folks, it's going to be tight. It's going to be prudent. It's going to be very, very fiscally conservative. And in the end, I think it's going to be my favorite. I have enjoyed this budget cycle more than any as your mayor. And I think what's happened is that, I've spent 7 years working with these women and men in city government, trying to get them to understand just kind of my style, bringing some business acumen, making things more productive and efficient and service-oriented, and squeezing dollars from that taxpayer buck. And I am so proud of this city team because they've truly done it. I think it's the most productive budget we've ever put together, and maybe the most painful too. But with that pain has come a lot of gain, and so I'm really looking forward to, engaging the council and the citizens, and let them see all the hard work that went into this.
Be watching for the mayor's proposed budget address later on this month. You'll have a notification of that right here on CityLink and of course on SiouxFalls.org. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about you and your neighborhood on Ask the Mayor.
I'm a company president working downtown.
I'm a college student.
I'm a full-time employee.
I'm a husband and a father.
I'm a son and a brother.
I'm a wife and a mother.
And I ride a bicycle as well.
And I'm a bike commuter.
And I'm a cyclist.
And I'll look out for you. You look out for me.
Thanks for watching Ask the Mayor. Of course, this program is your program, and your questions are important to us. Send them to us at the mayor's office on SiouxFalls.org. Click on Ask the Mayor and send your questions in. Lots of neighbors have asked about how do I form an association. Talk about neighborhood associations. Our community development department's really involved with those.
Sioux Falls, I'm telling you, if you want to find a way to really improve your neighborhood, improve its safety, improve the quality of life, the interaction, one great way to do that is through a neighborhood association or a neighborhood crime watch. And our community development team, we can help you do that. Simple phone call, simple email to Sioux Falls City Government, our community development team, Adam Roach, even the mayor's office will help organize that for you. I'm engaging neighborhood associations all the time. And the strength of those neighbors working together to make their neighborhoods better is just wonderful. And again, I'd encourage you to do that. We've set up more neighborhood watches and more neighborhood associations during my 7 years than all those combined. It really been a wonderful thing. But come on, Sioux Falls, we're 180,000 strong. We should have a lot more neighborhood associations than what we do. Where I live, we've created ours. We started ours, and it's been really a lot of fun. But you need to do it too. Because, if you're going to rely on government to do to be your eyes and ears, you're sorely mistaken. The olden days, we actually had neighbors that engaged each other. What a concept. We need them engaging each other again today, and you'll reap the rewards when you do.
Well, as diversity continues to grow in the city, these associations help people meet each other and new neighbors, and I think people discover that they all want the same thing.
They do. We are all one people. We all are one community. And, instead of creating barriers amongst ourselves or building walls, instead, it's better just, a handshake or two, a conversation or two, looking out for your neighbors when they're on vacation, watering their puppy on a hot day, whatever it would be. It's all really good stuff that is going to bring us together and make Sioux Falls even stronger.
If anyone's interested in neighborhood association, just email to the email address at the bottom of her screen now. It's called goodneighbor@siouxfalls.org. What's better than that? But goodneighbor@siouxfalls.org, and tell them you want to have a neighborhood association.
Thank you, Reed.
On the other hand, neighborhood watches are important too. You've talked about being the eyes and ears of your neighborhood and making sure it's safe.
And again, even if you don't have a neighborhood watch, and I respect that, Sioux Falls, I do, but we still are 180,000 people here. And as I just mentioned, if you're going to rely on the police team or the code enforcement team or your fire department to ultimately just provide all the protection and for you, that's not the right thing to do. We'll be there when you need us, but wouldn't it be great if we had 180,000 sets of eyes and ears out there looking for stuff proactively? What looks funny? What just doesn't seem right? What's unusual with that neighbor? Or why aren't they mowing their lawn? Why do they have that junky car sitting in the front of their house that doesn't have an updated license plate? Why are they adding that bunch of junk on the side of their house or whatever they're doing? Again, it takes one bad neighbor, just one, to just mess it up for the rest of us. It takes one bad business owner to not take care of their property, to really have a bad reflection when that soccer tournament is in town. And so why don't we hold those folks accountable? Ask them to pitch in and do the right thing. Because here's what happens. When we do hold them accountable, the vast, vast, vast majority of the time, they do the right thing. The neighbors, they mow their lawn. The neighbors, they pick up their junk. The neighbors, they move that old crappy car. The business owner, they do improve their landscaping. They do pick up the trash. What a concept. We're not trying to be that, strong arming anybody. We're just saying, come on, man, do your part. And here's also the reality. I've heard a few complaints, not many, I've heard a few. But here's a little dose of reality. The folks who were complaining about us enforcing code enforcement or encouraging others to be the eyes and ears of a good city, they're the bad neighbors. They are. They're the ones who ultimately are, it's just easier not to mow my lawn and have it look like crap. Or it's just easier, to have all that trash sitting out in someone's business and have it look, really raunchy. I can't think of very, very many people. There's only a select few that would want us to have a bad-looking town, a bad-looking neighborhood, or worse yet, having that neighbor be right beside you or right across the street from you or within an eye shot of where you're at. Because once you're in that situation, oh my gosh, it's just terrible. Now, these are tough situations too. We do have a small portion of these people that even when we try to hold them accountable, they don't want to play. They don't want to support their neighbors. They want to support their city. They just want to be obstinate and not be part of the solution. They actually want to be part of the problem. In that case, let us know. We'll do our part to hold them accountable, and we'll follow the rules, we'll follow the policies, we'll follow the laws. But ultimately, we're going to do what we can to help them clean up the bad situation that they created. Not the city, not the council, not the mayor. They created it. The business owner, the homeowner, that they created the situation, not the city.
City has a responsibility to mow their property as well too.
You bet.
We get questions about that. Why isn't the city mowing this,
You
or
bet.
why is this so high? Are there reasons for that?
I totally respect that. And you're right, the city of Sioux Falls, we do need to set the example, especially when it comes to policies and codes and laws, and we're always working to do that. But at the same time, for example, there are properties across Sioux Falls that we are not mowing purposefully. I'll give you some examples. We've got these buffer strips along the Big Sioux River, these filter strips that we used to mow like crazy. We'd spend countless of hours and machinery hours and so much money mowing this stuff, when in reality, it wasn't doing anything good for our environment, especially near that river. So we're not mowing that. There are other places in town where we've got some right-of-ways that we're not mowing to create a beautiful environment. Now, if there are some situations where we've got noxious weeds, though, that are sprouting up, let us know. We'll be out there to either spray them or cut those down. But yes, in reality, Sioux Falls, we need to also be a good neighbor. So if you see something that you don't like or that you question, let us know that too, and we'll check it out.
Mayor, in closing, your encouragement for people to run for office or serve. They were in the parade, the ones that have signed up already. What do you say to those that are considering public service?
Well, I first started my campaign to run for mayor. It was about 8 years ago at the 4th of July parade. And it really helped kick off my campaign. So we're kind of getting into the beginning of that season. Folks, I'm just going to tell you this, and again, you know how much I've enjoyed this public service role, you know how much I love being your mayor, but I would encourage others to get some of that enjoyment as well. Leadership is tough. Public service is certainly a sacrifice. You do not do it for the money, that's for darn sure, but you do it because you want to leave things better than the way that you found it. And so there are city council roles they're going to be up soon. There is the mayor's role that's going to be up soon. There are things like education boards or even just community committees. Folks, get involved in your community. We need you. It may be a long shot in you winning. Why not give it a shot? You take these days that we're given, you take this life that we're given, and you're trying to find ways to really make a difference. Public service is one great way. So yes, I would encourage you to run for the city council, run for the mayor, run for school board, sign up for that citizen committee, because we need you.
All right. Mayor, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Reed.
Right. If you're interested in public services the mayor's talking about, it's easy to find out what you need to do on our website at siouxfalls.org. Click on the city clerk's office. And Mayor's talking about reporting concerns. Very easy on the front. Click on report a concern and send that in. And again, if you'd like to start a neighborhood association, go to goodneighbor@siouxfalls.org. That's an email address, goodneighbor@siouxfalls.org. And as always, if you want to have a Crime Stopper type of organization in your neighborhood, simply call Crime Stoppers at 367-7007. And again, you can find all of this on our website at siouxfalls.org. On behalf of Mayor Huther, I'm Reed Holson. Thank you again for watching Ask the Mayor.